What's up, everybody? Big Herc, Prison Talk Live. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope you did something positive with yourself. Got to hang out with some loved ones. I know I had a great weekend. Got to enjoy some time with the wifey. Did a little drive in the whip and enjoyed myself. Hopefully by now you guys are subscribed to the channel. You're representing. You're doing your thing. You know, we almost at that 500,000 mark. Then we're going to have the big giveaway. So make sure you guys subscribe so you can enter to win the giveaway. And it's going to be big. First place, $1,000. Second place, flat screen. Third place, commissary bag. So you might get a G-ball if you're in the game. So make sure you guys subscribe, spread the word, let everybody know. Have some great interviews that came up. You guys, hope you've seen them. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Instagram and Twitter, Fresh Out Series. Also, check out Big Herc 916. I'll be putting it down with the positivity and the motivation on YouTube and on Instagram and Twitter, Big Herc 916. So check it out. For those of you trying to get your weight up, you know what I mean, trying to put some iron in the gym or bust some cheeks, go pick you up in the level 4. Level 4 will have you on some coochie assassin time or on some hog status time in the gym. So go pick you some up. Yard time, you guys know what it is. You get it in the morning, you don't drink that coffee, or even if you do drink the coffee, a nice little boost to get you going through the day. If you want to send us a message, do so through the website, freshoutseries.com. And if you're trying to get on with an interview and I ain't got back to you, man, shoot us another message on the website or email us at freshoutseries@gmail.com and we'll get back to you. We're based in LA, so if you want to come out here and hang to do an interview, we can make something happen. Otherwise, if you want us to come to you, you gotta pay the trip. You know what I mean? So me and Big Ann will be on the road if you guys can make it happen. But anyways, we're based out here. We can do the interview as long as you have a good story. It's something different. We don't mess with any rats. Nobody who mess with kids. No rapists. Nobody who's on some sick time. We ain't messing with y'all. If you's out there doing your thing, you know, and you change your life, and it's a positive, then we're gonna mess with you. But other than that, we ain't messing with you. So that's what's up. Now we got this story right here, man. We got the food story. I don't know why it's reading. This should have been changed right here. But we got the food story, and you know, in the feds they be giving a bad look on some of the food. I be queefing, thanks for the advice. Yeah, man. In the feds, or even in the state, man, food is the big thing in prison. So if you're not hip to the food, then, you know, that's what really controls a lot of the institutions. And over the food, people will lock it down. We actually locked it down when I was at Herlong because the food was so bad. So the food is not to be played with, and many of riots have been kicked off over the food. Somebody said, Big Herc, my friend had a do not serve to humans on all his food prepped in the kitchen in Arkansas State Prison. How common is this? He's telling the truth. I haven't seen do not feed the humans, but I know a lot of the food they feed is garbage. It's basically scraps, or it's some type of deal they've gotten on with some local distributor, and you know, the food is suspect, man. A lot of people, yeah, commissary, big thing, man. So they kind of make you have to go to the commissary. I know some people, they don't even go to the kitchen. You know, they don't even bother unless they unless they actually have something decent in there. IB Queefin, thanks for the donation. Somebody said at FCI La Tuna they had went through a food strike. Yeah, they did one at FCI Herlong too. I'm telling you, man, the food is serious. And when you lock it down during a food strike, you're not to come out to sell. If you come out to sell, you will get your wig split. There was a guy who didn't follow protocol. He thought that he could go shower during the lockdown, and he decided to go out during the lockdown and shower. Well, when the lockdown was over, they split his wig. He got touched up real quick. Yeah, not fit for human consumption. I didn't see any roaches in the food, but the guys in this article in question, they would have cow hearts, like boxes of cow hearts on the side, and then after the food inspectors came through, they would actually mix that in with the meat. So they were slanging ground beef, but it was actually like cow hearts and all type of other nasty stuff in there. So, yeah, man, the prison food, man, it's no joke. Jason Link, thanks for the donation, man. Noah Who That 504, thanks for the donation. My uncle went to the pen and told me when he got and he found a soap on his bunk, he ate it and damn near got his wig split trying to pay it back. That's too bad. That's crazy. Yeah, I did eat top ramen. Somebody said, did you eat a lot of top ramen and tuna? Top ramen and tuna was a staple, man. You try to have top ramen and rice, so that way you didn't eat too much top ramen. Because I don't know if you've seen what they use top ramen for on YouTube, man. That thing can repair almost anything. Top ramen is it's not good in your stomach, but you gotta eat to survive, man. I didn't see any rats up in there as far as running around the kitchen or anything like that. I know they would have. Matter of fact, you know what? Yeah, at Long Park, I remember they were having an inspection, and one of the inmates had actually got a rat and hung it up and hung it up on a noose and had it hanging in the kitchen. And he was hoping that when the people came by to inspect, the administrators, they would see that rat. But yeah, there was a mouse or it was a mouse in the kitchen that somebody had caught. But I didn't, the dudes who cook in the food, man, there's a lot of respect. They're not playing games, putting, junk in the food because they got to eat the same food. So, if you got homies in the kitchen, they're looking out and they'll tell you if something ain't cool. State food is way better than the county. Yeah, county food is the worst. San Bernardino County, whoo, man. Horrible, man. You can't even, if you even act like you're going to say something in the kitchen, you can get your book. They're going to put hands on you. No joke. And the food is horrible. Top ramen, one top ramen, I think is like $1, maybe more. CYA baby, Paso Robles. I hear you, man. I was at Preston for a hot minute, then went to Washington Ridge in the early 90s. Ended up going to fire camp, homie. Galvin Incredible AU, thanks for the donation. Vegetables in prison, were they fresh? The vegetables, I would say, weren't bad. My one of my cellies had a kosher diet. So we would save his vegetables and use them to cook in our food. So he would share his vegetables with us in our meals. So that was a plus. Otherwise, it's hard to get like raw, fresh vegetables. Most of the stuff that's cooked in the kitchen is it's not fresh, But they do have fresh stuff for the kosher meals. Oh, somebody said top ramen like $3 in the county here. Yeah, it's been a long time. I can't remember, man, but I know it's real expensive, man. IB Queefin, thanks for the donation. Real talk, top ramen used as currency. Like my friend bought weed and heroin for some ramen packs. How did that work? Well, he probably I don't know if he probably had a combination of top ramen and something else to pay for that, because a couple of top ramen packs ain't gonna cover heroin. A pinhead of heroin is probably $80 in the prison. So you could, I mean, a match head. So most people are sending money off their books if they're buying drugs, most likely. What the Jews doing in prison when they join? I didn't see any Jews in prison, as far as people who were, they might have been Jewish, but they weren't joining no gangs, not in the feds. A kosher meal is like it's a religious meal. So it's a meal that it's like for like a special diet. So it's prepared a certain way, and it's for people who have qualified for religious diet due to whatever their religious beliefs are. How do you survive in the pen with no money? You better hustle. I mean, I didn't have a lot of money sent in, but I had a hustle. Everybody in prison comes up with a hustle. Some people are selling sandwiches. Some people are making picture frames or art, or they're doing something. But everybody has a hustle in prison, so you got to find a hustle. If you got to have something that's going to make you some money. Glad I missed Y. Almost went there in '89. Spent 3 years juvenile camp. Yeah, man, you don't want to go to YA, man. Glad you didn't have to go there. How can a guy YouTube's worst prison in the Philippines, hands down? The guards just push you in and find your own cell. Yeah, I could imagine. I heard the Philippines. Oh, I haven't heard anything about the Philippines, but I know Brazil prisons is no joke. We got JC did an interview. Prisons in Mexico is no joke. You know what I mean? You go in there, man, they ain't playing around. They know what you're in there for before you even get in there. So if you on some, your paperwork ain't right, there's no SNY yard. You're going straight up in there with everybody. You're getting your wig split. There's somebody said they did prison tats. Yeah, that's another hustle. Tattooing. Cooking, people cook, people clean cells for money, people do laundry, you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff to do up in there. Somebody says you should trade soup for sandwiches, make extra spreads, easy hustle to people who don't have to buy soup, yep. There's a lot of hustles in there, man. People cook meals for people. If you're a good cook, you can make $100 a week just cooking for people. You know what I mean? Cooking meals. They bring you the food and you cook it, and they eat, and they pay you every week based out of that. How the showering situation going down in prison? Showering. You shower when you get a chance to shower. There's no set shower schedule. Usually some people shower in the morning. Some people shower as soon as they get back from work. Some people shower after their workouts. It just depends. But the showers are open all day. You just got to get in there. Hey, Nunez, what's up, man? Thanks for the donation. Big Herc, you ever go to Gold's Gym Venice? I haven't been there in probably a couple years, but I've been out there. I've trained there before a few times. It's just not, it's not convenient. Yeah, a lot of people make gifts to sell, the slang and send money home. Slanging bell peppers and onions. Yep, a lot of I know a lot of cats who we get them vegetables, man. They come out of there like 4 or 5 onions, bell peppers, man, and they slanging them. You got a lot of dudes who buy a lot of those vegetables, broccoli. Dudes are slanging all kind of stuff, but bell pepper and onions is big. No showers during lockdown now. When you lock down, it's just straight. You bird bathing. No, I never met anybody from Rhode Island. Don't know anybody from there. Was sent to Preston in '88 for 4 years. Straight gladiator school, training for New Folsom in 94, got out in 98, never went back. That's good, man. Yeah, it ain't, I mean, the people who glorize this prison stuff, man, who act like they went through something, yeah, they went through something, but it ain't nothing to glorize. You know, I wish I would have never went. And that's why we put this show on, so that you guys will have better sense and not go. What is my dream car? Ooh, man. There's some sick cars out there right now, man. Dream car, man. Shoot. You talking about straight power and performance, and man, I might have to go with the Bugatti Chiron. That thing's an animal. 300 miles per hour. Woo! I might have to go with that Bugatti Chiron. If money wasn't an option. Somebody said there was a guy that was a good cook, put together a damn good spread, and we paid him to eat together. Yeah. If you're a cook, Chef V used to get down up in there. He had the burritos jumping off, the tamales. Chef V was, when he was on the East Coast, he was killing it over there. He was cooking for a lot of the Italian cats and stuff, man, making pizzas, everything. Chef V was a damn good cook in prison. Big Herc, you're going to interview some former inmate from Texas prison. If they get at us, man, the thing is, you guys ask us to interview certain people. If they don't come to Cali, or we don't fly out there, there's no way for us to interview. We don't like doing split screen like a lot of these guys. We're not into that. We sit down, we're intimate, we have a conversation, and, we interviewed people from all over, but they have to be accessible. We just interviewed somebody from Florida. We got an interview with somebody from the Midwest coming real soon. We interview a lot of people from California because we're in California, but we'll interview anybody from anywhere, but they have to come to California or fly us to their location. No, I don't think I'm gonna watch the Joker movie, man. What happens to snitches in the pen? You know what happens to them. Somebody says, why do you need to hustle for money in prison? Don't they pay for the chow hall food? Yeah. Why do you hustle? Everybody hustles. Man, you don't have to hustle. You can be a dude who just goes and does your time. But most people have hustles. Some people want to get money up in there, man. They're running the gambling table, running the store, loan sharking. There's all kind of stuff. But if you don't want to do nothing, you ain't got to do nothing. You can go in there and eat the chow hall food every day if you want to eat that. Some people, that's what they do. Some people, they don't ever go to the chow hall. They do their whole time and they don't never see the chow hall. It just depends on, what your mentality is. You're not forced to hustle, but everybody, that I knew had a hustle. My hustle was legal work, So, some other homie hustle, he did the books, He ran the gambling. So some dudes, got a gambling table, and that way all the homies could eat. You might have a gambling table ran by a certain, group of individuals, and that way everybody gets commissary every week. So some people don't have no support, and they don't want to eat in the chow hall because the food in the chow hall can be pretty shitty, man. When Folsom was there, it was like 12 cents an hour. Yeah, you ain't making no money on the prison job. Did you ever come down in Dago? Yeah, I was down in Dago a couple weeks ago for the meet and greet. It was all on my Instagram and Twitter. I did a meet and greet out there. I was out there. Ever heard of Syracuse, New York? Yeah, I know about Syracuse. Syracuse got they put in work. They got a dope basketball team. College is a good college. I'm familiar with Syracuse. What's the vetting process like for an interview? Pretty much the vetting process is we want to know some background on what you did time for, and some type of know-how of what your story is. Like I said, we're not just putting anybody on our channel. We don't just need to have a bunch of people who ain't doing nothing with their life on here, talking about glorizing prison. If you're out here doing something positive, you're giving back, you're talking to kids, you're, educating people, and then that's what we want, man. We're not here to brag or boast about how many people you shanked or who you was in there, putting in work. That we don't care about that, man. Don't nobody care. If you did that and you're doing something positive, then cool. But man, I don't really. I'm more impressed with a dude who was out here building an empire the right way, rather than trying to do a bunch of negative stuff in prison. I've been here since like 16K a couple years ago. All right, good looking, man. Yeah, the female cop Geiger was found guilty of murder today. The Texas cop that shot the black guy said that she thought she was in her apartment and she killed dude. They found her guilty today, and yeah. I guess she thought she was gonna walk. She said that she didn't know it wasn't her apartment. Come on, man. You gotta be kidding me. You go into somebody else's house and you don't know it's their house, and then you say that they're an intruder and you kill them? That's crazy, man. Was she a cop? Yeah, she was a cop. She was a cop. She was a cop, and she shot this guy, didn't call for backup, and basically said that she thought he was an intruder in her house, and then she realized she was on the wrong floor. In Texas. It's all over the news, man. She's out of Texas. She's a Texas police officer. So we'll see what type of sentencing they give her. Can you get swollen in prison, breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And is there a time limit on how many times you can go to chow? Yeah, man, they watch you. You can only go through the chow line once. I mean, sometimes when they had good meals, we would try to double up in the chow line like on burger day or chicken day. But sometimes the guards will catch you, and then they'll make you get out of the line, or they'll kick you out the chow hall. Or, if they want to be an ass, they can write you up. But most of the time, they tell you to get out of the line. So, they watch the line on certain days because the whole thing is they don't want to run out of food. Did I ever meet someone on death row? No, because in the feds, they don't have death row. The feds, they just give people life, 2 and 3 lives, 100 years. So there was no death row when I was in the feds. All my life dreams, I've been locked up off and on since 11. Just don't know if I'm ready for the internet. I've been out 5 years. Hey, man, congrats, man. Yeah. I'm glad you kind of found something, man. Prison ain't nothing cool about prison, man. Herc, how do you not get caught putting in work? In prison, if the thing is, there's cameras everywhere, but they look at the cameras when there's an investigation. So if there's a blind spot, you might be able to get away with something. But a lot of times, if they find out somebody's been, like somebody they see, like check knuckles, they look for people who have scrapes and stuff that's not reported, and they'll lock you down, and assume that you had got into a scuffle and wait for you to tell on yourself. Big Herc, do you have PTSD from your time in the feds? Not recently. I mean, I have had, these horrible nightmares that a brother's locked up and don't know how I got there, and it's probably as a result of doing so much time. But yeah, you do get PTSD from doing time in the feds. I mean, it's horrible, bro. I used to have dreams when I was inside out I was free and I was in, and now that I'm out, I've had them. I mean, I haven't had them recently, but I've had them before, man, and it's not cool. There's nothing cool, man, about hearing a prison door open and shut. Did you hear that Indiana just passed a castle law for cops for civilians to bust at them for false entry without warrants and abuse of power. Hey, I didn't hear about that, but it's a cold game, man. 95 Mustang 5.0. They, Fox Body, they about the business. I'm just more of an old school Mustang guy. If I do Mustang, it has to be 67, 68, 69, or 70 fastback. That's the only thing I touch Mustang. Somebody said, how can a guy kill a cop, can be free and do crime on parole and still be free, while a person who is locked up can't get granted parole? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, man, whenever one of these guys get out, if somebody does something stupid and then they try to say, well, that's why the system, it's not everybody. Some of these people, man, they aren't good candidates, man. Not everybody's going to be a model citizen, but you can't put the finger on everybody because you have a couple of loose cannons who get out here and they just figure, man, to hell with it. I don't have a life. Some people, man, they didn't have a life on the street, so prison to them is home. You'd be surprised. A lot of these guys who was all they can be in prison, man, that's all they have. On the street, man, you're nobody. Nobody cares. And that's why people act like that. So being on the street is totally different for a lot of people who had status in prison, man. Status on a yard. It doesn't, that's nothing on the street, man. A yard? I mean, come on, man. I would rather my kid have status in his community, or at his job. I mean, that's real. Do the current event politics of the outside world make it in a prison? I mean, people might speak on politics to some degree, but for the most part, man, I mean, dudes is worried about survival. When you're in prison, you have a release date, but you're still worried about just violence. You're worried about lockdowns. You're worried about just your life. You know what I mean? Making it from day to day, because even though, you have an out date, I mean, you're dealing with a lot of variables, man. So you just try to manage yourself the best you can. The worst thing I ever saw in a joint, a person bleeding out. I seen a dude get his wig split, man, and it just was bleeding out, and everybody just walked around him. Nobody act like they saw this guy. So by the time they found him, there's no telling what happened to him, man. But the dude was bleeding out. Everybody just walked around him. That was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Herc, which drug is used the most in prison? I would imagine probably heroin, man. A lot of these guys are hooked on heroin. I never seen it personally, because if you see it, then you've already seen too much. But I know a lot of dudes who are using it. I know there was a lot of money being made with it in there. A lot of people got into a lot of trouble messing with heroin. But I would say that's the biggest drug in there because of just the escape issue, the escape factor, where I guess you go off and you nod off, you know what I mean? So heroin's really big in prison. Did I ever see anybody pretend to be mentally ill or incapable of responding to jury, court, and trial and avoid judgment? I mean, people do it. You got guys, I would imagine, who play try to act like they're crazy in order to get a lesser sentence, thinking that they can get a diversion to a medical facility and get out early. People play all type of stuff, but once they get you on that medication, you might not never be the same. So that's the catch-22 with that, man. That medication might have you on one. What was the coolest thing in prison, if any? There was nothing cool in prison, man. The coolest thing in prison is shit out here on the street. It's garbage. There's nothing cool in prison. There's no homie high fives that were cool. None of that stuff. When I look at all that, it's all shit compared to what life is out here on the street, man. Josh and Jesus, thanks for the donation. Herc, was the one thing you left behind? Herc, what was the one thing you left behind in prison? For me, it was spades. 20 years later, I still won't touch a hand of spades. I never played spades in there, man. Once I got on my little thing, I didn't play cards. I didn't play, I rarely played dominoes. I tried not to do the prison stuff, man. I did get tatted, a few tats, but other than that, man, I didn't really get involved in too much of the prison lifestyle. Yeah, the coolest thing of leaving prison, man. That was the greatest day of my life, man. Leaving that damn prison and starting over, realizing that I've seen enough. I've seen way too much and way more than I needed to see. If you like stabbing people and wondering if you're going to die every day, the prison is your place. Animals can you own it? You can't own any animals in jail, man. Do you use methadone in California's prison system? I don't know about California prison system. I didn't hear about anybody using methadone in the feds. 66 Pontiac GTO. That's a dope ride. That's a dope ride, man. You got to Pro Tour that thing, though. Get a roaster shop chassis on it so that thing will handle right. You ever been in a riot, have to split a wig in jail? The riot that happened at Lompoc was with two groups of individuals. It didn't concern me. I wasn't involved in it. There was a riot in Sheridan. I wasn't involved in it. There were some guys there was some stuff that kicked off, some political stuff. The only situation I was in that was California City. We refused to lock it down, but it was basically the inmates had a standoff with the actual jail administrators. And then they just locked us up and, basically threw away the key, until everybody got transferred. But as far as in the riots, I wasn't in no riot stabbing nobody or doing anything stupid. I didn't get involved in any of that, fortunately. Does being locked up for violent crime give people more respect than being locked up for non-violent crime? I mean, in the feds, your status is based on how much money you made. If you were balling on the street, whether it's through white collar or whether it's drug dealing, you were making a lot of money, then you're respected. I mean, people look at, in the feds, it's a hierarchy of economics. So economics basically determines where people, judge you as far as on the criminal style. If you weren't getting no money, it don't matter if you in the feds, nobody's running around bragging about murderers or nothing like that. Because most guys who got that kind of time are trying to get off. So they're never going to admit that they murdered anybody. So in the state, man, you probably got a lot of dudes who are just what they call JCAS 5150, and they're just proud to be in prison. You know what I mean? Because it's be all you can be. But in the feds, most dudes that were living really good, getting money, they're trying to get out. So they're trying to work on appeals, or, they were, dealing with big conspiracies and they were slanging and they were doing big things. So money is a determining factor of your status in the feds. It ain't nobody really looking at who was murdering who or any of that violent type stuff. It's not even a concern. Time for the shout outs, you guys. Let's get these shout outs cracking. Who we got? Yeah, I was programming. Like I said, I was in there working to get the hell out. Because I know if I caught any more time, I was done. I already had no family support. So me acting a fool up in prison wasn't going to do nothing for me. Basically it would have been like me saying I don't care about life. And I cared about life, so I had to outthink all these damn dummies. You know what I mean? San Antonio, shout out to you. Houston, Texas, shout out. Shout out to Irvine, California. San Francisco, 415. The Polynesians and Samoans, they got their own little thing, man. They got the island car. Shout out to Antarctica. Shout out to Sacktown. Shout out to Central Michigan. Shout out to Houston. Shout out to Canada. 415, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Portland, Oregon. 503, San Bernardino. I see you. Iran, Houston, Texas. Jeffreys Bay, South Africa. All right. Baldwin Park, Venice Beach. Melbourne, Florida. Harrisburg. Salt Lake City. Alabama. Philadelphia. Oklahoma, Detroit, Alberta, Canada. Las Vegas. FCI Safford. West Texas. Southern Minnesota, 507. LAC, 909. Lake Fort Worth, Florida. Columbus, Ohio. North Highlands. Melbourne, Florida. Inglewood, Compton. Egypt. Hong Kong. 916. 989. Chicago. Manila, North Carolina. Inglewood again. Mexico. Big Bear Lake, California. I was up there for a car show. Nigeria, Africa, Nigeria, Ogden, Utah, Maine, Kentucky. Man, we had people from everywhere tonight. Centralville, Virginia, 204, Coachella, East New York, Brooklyn, Pacoima, 420, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 619-210. IE Projects, Elk Grove, I hear you, 310. Hey man, shout out to everybody. Meet and greet next month. Next month at SEMA. I'll be there chilling. Check out my Instagram and check out Fresh Out Instagram. Fresh Out Series, Big Herc 916 for details of the meet and greet next month in Las Vegas. All right, y'all, man. Have a great week. Stay positive. Stay sucker free. Subscribe to Fresh Out and Big Herc 916 YouTube.